All right. This is going to be the first video of going over these free response questions. We have question 1, which is also found on page 386 in your textbook, T5.11. So this is question 11 on the practice test. All right, the question. The two-way table summarizes data on whether students at a certain high school eat regularly in the school cafeteria by grade level. And it's got grade as the variable and eat in cafeteria as the variable. And it's got all your totals here at the end, which is nice. We don't have to add those together. And we got a few questions related to it. So let's look at question A. If you choose a student at random, what is the probability that the student eats regularly in the cafeteria and is not a 10th grader? And in the table represents the overlap. So let's look at first. This is randomly picking somebody in the cafeteria. So it's going to be the probability a student eats regularly in the cafeteria and is not a 10th grader. Your denominator, whatever your numerator is, your denominator will be 805. It's not a given, so it's going to be out of 805. So to get at the numerator, we're going to see, we're going to figure out first the individual probabilities, regular in the cafeteria. So regular in the cafeteria would be yes, 495 over 310. So 495 is regular in the cafeteria. And then and is not a 10th grader. So not a 10th grader. Everybody but the 10th grader. It would be all three of those. So we're not using the total. We're just using the regular and not a 10th grader. So the 9th, 10th, and 11th out of 805. So this is the same thing as saying probability of, so 10th, the complement of 10th grade, which is probability of 9th, 11th, and 12th, and yes, probability of cafeteria. So 130 plus 122 plus 68 over 805. We'll just do a little calculation here. That's going to give you 320 out of 805, 0.3975. It's perfectly acceptable to leave your answer as a fraction. You're not asked to round to put a decimal in there, but typically, if we're going to round the decimals, we do a percentage or a decimal, so about 0.3975. So we want to summarize in a free response question. We would say the probability, basically restate the question, probability that a student chosen at random is not a 10th grader and eats regularly in the cafeteria, yes, is about 39.75%. Letter B. Try these on your own first and then pause it and check the answer with me. Letter B. If you choose a student at random who eats regularly in the cafeteria, what is the probability that the student is a 10th grader? So this one, we're talking about given probabilities. How do you know it's given? Well, you choose, you know the student is going to eat regularly in the cafeteria. So your given is eats regularly in the cafeteria. So your given is the yes. So this problem is going to be probability. What is the probability the student is a 10th grader is the same thing as the probability of 10th grade given eats regularly in cafeteria. So that's the probability of the overlap. So 10th grade given, now that total was 495. So it's 175 over 495, not over the overall total because we're only dealing with eats regular in the cafeteria. So it's going to be 175 over 495. So about 0.353535 repeating. So I'll just say 0.3535. Or approximately 35.35%. So this question, the probability, if you choose a student at random who eats regularly in the cafeteria, the probability that a student who eats regularly in the cafeteria is in 10th grade is 0.3535, 35.35%. That's that question. Now let's look at letter C. Are the events 10th grader and eats regularly in the cafeteria independent? Justify your answer. So we want to test, in other words, that does one affect the other? And to do that, you find the probability of one thing. So probability of 10th grade. And then you find the probability of that given the other event happening. So we find the probability of 10th grade given eats regularly. Okay, if those two are equal, then they're independent. If they're not equal, they're not independent. So we're gonna find, we already found this one. This one's right here. So I'm not gonna redo that one. We know that one's gonna be 0.3535. So what we need to do is we need to test, does the probability of being in 10th grade also equal 0.3535? So let's look at the 10th graders. We have 209 total 10th grade. There's 805 total students. So that probability is gonna be 209 over 805. So that's 0.2596. These are not the same, so therefore they're not independent. They are not independent. The probability of 10th grade is not equal to the probability of 10th grade given eats in cafeteria regularly. They have to be the same. All right, hopefully that was helpful. There's 2 more videos coming your way.